Hello and welcome to Two Guys and a Few Good Men. I am TJ Washuk.
And I am Garrett Loberg.
And this is Movie Lowdown for the week of October 8th, 2018.
So let's get right into the news.
You want to start?
Alright, first this week we've got Suicide Squad 2 has a new director. Who is this mystery director? Well, it's none other than James Gunn, who has just recently let go from Marvel. How do you think? What do you think about this? This is a pretty big fuck you to Marvel.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'm glad that James Gunn, got in with DC, because Marvel, kind of screwed him on this, on his baby, his Guardians of the Galaxy, and Suicide Squad. It's kind of like the same type of, type of story. I mean, not story, but what do you call it? Same guidelines, I guess, or
yeah, like a format.
Same format. That's what I'm looking for.
Because you got a bunch of idiots that are part of a group that you're not going to work together well. So you always have to have them being babied and being So this is really good for them because it's basically Guardians of the Galaxy more leveled on Earth.
Yeah. So
crazy characters.
So I'm sure they'll bring back some characters. I'm sure Will Smith will be back, Margot Robbie, of course, but they might get Dave Bautista because he's asking to be part of this, and that would be dope to see him as Bane.
Yeah, are they saying it's going to be Bane if he plays anything?
I mean, I think that would be the best role for him as
definitely.
Bane.
No, I agree.
Because he is, I think he's Mexican. And
he's
Hispanic,
and he's huge too because he's been a wrestler before. So I know, what the best part about Bane is his voice can always be dubbed over. I think that they did a little bit of a funny job with the "I'm Bane." It sounded like he was cupping his mouth the whole time he did it because everyone can do it themselves.
Exactly.
So it'd be nice to see them do some voice where it's like his voice, but it's really fucked with. It's
like behind a respirator or something.
Yeah, something that they can at least make the different sound with, which and the big thing for DC is that they're kind of going uphill right now with now as I say that we've got to still get through Aquaman first. Yeah. And once Aquaman's over, we'll be able to tell kind of where the DCU's gonna be at.
Exactly. And with Aquaman, it looks from that the 5-minute trailer looks actually pretty decent. It's not as dark looking. And then, of course, Shazam. That's completely opposite of what DC has been doing.
Is that coming out Christmas or is that next year? That's next year.
That's next year, I believe.
February, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
But DC definitely has some more stuff that's coming out that you're like, well, that looks more fun. And I know that watching the trailer for Aquaman, it looks fun, to the point where even if it's terrible, it's the only thing that's really killing me about them is the reshoots and the CGI. And
makes you question what's going on.
I don't even think that, it just makes it more or less authentic, like that scene that we talk about all the time in Justice League, where you see Arthur Curry walking backwards and there's these really nice mountains and they're really nicely colored, and then there's obviously a reshoot in the middle of it when he's diving backwards.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, you can see they even cut the screen to where it's a completely different shot, and you're just his eyes are different, everything else is different. So James Gunn does a really, really good job of keeping things
setting a tone,
Yeah, and so I don't think anything will go unturned. I also think this is good for DC because maybe it says, hey, we should be hiring directors like this that are visually stunning and can put shit together, and maybe he has pull at different studios to work with. So we'll see. Right now, I think it's just a really smart decision by DC.
Oh yeah. Speaking of superheroes, still, Scarlet Johansson recently got a great deal with her new movie. She got signed on for about $15 million, which is great. She's going to be earning as much as the other stars in their own standalone superhero movies. So that's a good up for female actresses, It's good to see that they're paying them the same during this, movement of Me Too, or the girls or women don't make enough as men type of deal.
How crazy, putting aside everything male and female, that these movies now are paying actors. I mean, they've always paid actors good, but this is like when you watch in the NFL when a quarterback signs the most lucrative deal in the NFL.
Like Aaron Rodgers getting the most money this year.
So it's kind of amazing now to see all the actors doing this, because a lot of times we don't really care to ask how much they're getting paid.
Exactly. We just know it's in the millions.
And one thing that I will say I don't like about this is that they're making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think that if you have to make a big deal out of it, it's that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. If you can just say, like, wow, Scarlett Johansson's getting paid what she should be getting paid, mm-hmm. it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be she gets paid $15 million. Women are doing awesome. It should be actress gets paid what she should be paid, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm all for women getting paid more, because acting is definitely one of those moves that you get paid a lot more as a male actor, because you're doing more action stuff. And now, not to say that girls aren't doing action, but it's just superhero movies. It's dominated by male characters.
Exactly, and Scarlett Johansson is one of the very few females in the Marvel universe, besides the lady that was in Wakanda, the sister, mm-hmm. and then now Captain Marvel. Yeah. Besides that, there's not really many females. Oh, and Scarlet Witch. Mm-hmm. But other than that, not too many. My guess is, the Hollywood Reporter is the one that dropped it, and they just wanted to make a statement showing, hey, females can get paid as much as males too.
But either way, it's nice to see that she's making that much money.
Yeah.
I think she's earned it. I think she's always been a cornerstone in all these movies. If you think about it, she's been in all these movies.
Yes.
And, as much as, like, we say that she hasn't earned as much as that, it's kind of cool to see her finally.
She hasn't been like prominent, the main part of these movies, but she's always in them, like you said, and mm-hmm. she's always played her role.
Mm-hmm. And next up, we've got Michael Shannon wanting to get into the talks for Rian Johnson's Knives Out. Now, we talked about this at the movie theater. I'm not a big, so I'll let you kind of talk about this. I'm not big on this one.
Sure.
I didn't read much about it, so.
Okay, so what I gathered from this is Knives Out, it's going to be back to Rian Johnson's roots. Basically, it's going to be like a thriller crime movie, because he made the movie Brick. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, it's that Justin Gordon-Levitt movie from the early 2000s when he was younger. He also made Looper.
He did Looper. That's right. Did you like Looper on
I like Looper. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's a couple holes in it, but I thought
of course, yeah.
But I mean, like, when I say that, I just mean, like, it's still, regardless of the holes, it's still a solid movie.
Yeah, it was a fun watch, definitely. But besides Rian Johnson, or not Rian Johnson, Michael Shannon, Daniel Craig is gonna be in it, mm-hmm. and then Chris Evans, Captain America, he's gonna be in it. And now they're saying that the main character in Sorry to Bother You, Lakeith Stanfield, is gonna be in it as well. So there's gonna be some great actors in this movie. It's gonna be I think, a good movie with these 4 stars in it.
Yeah, and I think Chris Evans finally wrapping with Infinity War is giving him a lot more time to start branching out and doing some stuff that he hasn't done before. And
exactly.
I know he did Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer, yeah, that was a good one.
In between Captain America, and he's also done a couple other movies between Captain America movies, but it's going to be nice to see him back in actual movies other than MCU movies.
Yeah, exactly, and it kind of reminds me of, what's the actor's name from Star Wars? Poe.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. He was recently in the news talking about how it's been nice to have a break from the Star Wars movies with mm-hmm. that Van Gogh movie that's coming out.
Yes.
He said, it wasn't a typical Hollywood movie. There wasn't, the X's on the ground, spots. I forgot what they're called.
Blocking.
Blocking. He said there wasn't really anything on that, so it was more freedom he had with it, and he really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And apparently after the next Star Wars, he's going to be taking a year off, because he's been working for about 10 years straight.
Which means he'll still do 2 movies.
Yeah, no, he's gonna have 2 movies coming out next year, but he's gonna not be in like the 2020 section.
Oh, he'll be in it for sure. They always say that. Yeah. It's like Chris Evans said that, and it's like, now look at him. He's like, I'm retired from Captain America. I'm gonna do like 50 movies, and then I'm gonna retire, and he's still gonna do another 20.
Right. Well, moving on from there, we got a funny article here. So on change.org, there was a petition, or I think it's still going on, but last time I checked, there was about 85,000 signatures to put Tobey Maguire in as a pizza boy in Spider-Man Far From Home.
This is such a... I love people... Spider-Man junkies are my favorite because you think about it, they try to get Donald Glover as Miles Morales in one of the movies.
Yeah.
And they always have some fucking thing to add into the movies that they petition to. And this just makes it even better because Tobey Maguire is the originator of
Spider-Man.
Pizza Time.
Oh, yeah, too, yeah.
And so, and they made him as a pizza guy in the movie, their movies.
Yeah.
So it's really funny to like have that like come back in full turn.
Mm-hmm.
And Tobey Maguire doing it is just because don't see him. I don't think they're ever gonna have him working for a pizza place in any of these movies unless they add it in the third one because he's not gonna be in the country this year or next year for Away From Home.
Oh really?
Yeah, they've exclusively only shot in Europe. They are not going to be in Queens, and so yeah, for Far From Home.
Far From Home is actually Far From Home.
Yeah, it's actually going to be. So obviously he comes back from whatever in Infinity War because that's going to be the next movie after Infinity War.
Yeah, because this comes out before Infinity War, but technically it's after, right?
No. This comes after Infinity War because
really?
It goes Captain Marvel because they're going to give the background to why she's able to kick Thanos' ass.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the Infinity War 2, whatever that's going to be titled. And then I believe in the same time it was released, the year that it was released, that's when they're going to be doing it, in September or October. Like summertime, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it will be after Infinity War because they got to obviously make him come back.
Yeah.
So, regardless, this is just funny. I love Spider-Man fans. They make me happy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see that too much with any other superhero genre, or not genre, but character fan group. Mm-hmm. Like for Batman, I mean, we have people wanting John Hamm, but that's totally different. I mean, it's not comedic like this.
Yeah, exactly. And what John Hamm will bring will be much different, but it's just fun. They're fun. Another really quick article for comic books that just came out that I want to talk about. It's not a movie, but did you see that Iron Fist?
What about Iron Fist?
It got canceled.
The third one?
The third season got canceled.
Oh, good.
So they're no longer... But I hear that the second season wasn't as bad.
Oh, really?
The second season was actually pretty good, and they actually had an ending to it where they had it like carrying on to the next episode. Because I guess he turns into the White Fist or something like that.
Okay, he ascends or whatever.
So, but yeah, they just came out with that yesterday that they finally said, no, we're done.
Probably because, that many people cared for the first one, and they thought, a second season would be good.
I think Defenders really turned people off. Not that it was bad, but it just, I think people were like, you're pushing it way too fast for having, a Marvel Cinematic Universe in your TV universe.
I mean, they're making a new Daredevil. I saw that. The new season of Daredevil, at least.
But I mean, that's been critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
You talk about the Iron Fist season 1, it just got shit on.
Yeah, that was the worst of the 4,
And even Jessica Jones season 2 has been
extremely
hard to get through. I can't watch it. Like, I can watch Daredevil, I can sit there and be like, damn, I need to see the next episode.
Yeah.
Those I'm never like... They do a good job of keeping on the edge of the end of the episode, but you also can go, I know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So...
well, moving on to our last story, news about Dwayne Johnson. He's going to be in Big Trouble in Little China, and John Carpenter, the originator, is not happy with it. He doesn't think that they should make a I guess this is a reboot of his story, of his movie. Also, he wasn't happy about them creating more Halloween movies. He just wanted one. He didn't want to have sequels to his Halloween movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you get when you go into Hollywood, though. You sell off your rights, and then, they can do whatever they want. No matter how bad the next one or the next one after that, they'll keep coming out with them if they're going to make them somewhat of money.
And apparently this is what he told Cinema Blend. Quote, "They want a movie with Dwayne Johnson. They want what they want, so they just picked the title. They don't give a shit about me and my movie. That movie wasn't a success."
Yeah, and you would know if you're the writer and director that your movie was a fucking piece of shit.
I mean, it's a cult classic, but it didn't do well in theaters, I think.
No, and see, I know that the movie's good. When I say a piece of shit, I just say, that's how you kind of see it.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, and John Carpenter, I'm pretty sure he's a great director, and I think that he's probably second guessing himself, but at the same time, I agree with him that if it doesn't need a sequel, we really need to put a fucking plug on that right now, because it is getting to the point where we're really going to be starting to go. I mean, just think about all the Disney movies that they're coming out with. You're just starting.
They're just making live action versions of them.
Everything down. And when you make a remake, you really do water it down.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't really pull too much from it. I mean, unless if you're creating like a sequel, you're
pulling nostalgia, and nostalgia's like crack. It's great for 30 seconds, and then you're like, you need more, and that's what you get when you go into a movie like that. You get endorphins from like, oh, I remember that, or I remember that scene, and it's great and everything, but that's all you're getting from the movie, because most of the time they're pieces of shit movies.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
One big one was Independence Day 2.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
It hits you with all the nostalgia of all the characters, and you're like, oh, that's
minus Will Smith.
Well, it's his son, and blah blah blah, and all these people. You got Jeff Goldblum coming back. And it's like, oh wow. Same with the Jurassic Parks. It's great until you realize, wow, this movie is actually terrible. Like, writers are all feel like they're 5.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like the Jurassic Parks are for a younger generation.
Of course, yeah.
But I guess one thing to pull off of that, Chris Pratt actually pulled out Jurassic Park, and I think he did well with it. With it,
Mm-hmm. I wasn't opposed to their first reboot.
Yeah.
I think that was a good new take on it.
Exactly.
But when you do the second one, it moves you up to a third one. And
they're going to do a third one.
We have a hard reboot.
Yeah, they're pretty much doing what they did with the first ones, or the first trilogy, is, they made it the original where they, lay the groundwork, then they make it scary, and then they do something crazy at the end where they have it like on an island, or they'll do it. I don't know what they'll do with this one,
Not to, like, bring up this tangent even more, but, like, have you noticed that with films lately is that we've gotten to the point where, like, Star Wars, you're kind of rehashing stuff from each of the first, like, the first movie, it kind of pulls from the last movie or whatever, and then this last movie, it kind of pulls from a couple different angles. Same with a lot of the Jurassic Park stuff. It's pulling stuff from Lost World, like how the dinosaurs came back to the States and are released.
Exactly.
There's a lot of stuff that they're pulling back, and I think that that's really causing people to also sit there and go, well, wait. In Jurassic Park, in the Lost World, they did this shit before. Mm-hmm. How is it that no one fucking stopped this, no matter if it's a company or not? Somebody would have had to know on that radar, or somebody would have been like, hey, I know it's a movie, but it really suspends belief to people unlike us that are, like, always watching for that shit.
Plot holes that were wrong with the movies prior. They're bringing up into these new movies.
Yeah. So, and it kind of like with Star Wars, sometimes you're like, man, isn't there Admiral Akbar that's like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Like, we should get out of here.
Right.
They're probably tracking us. Like, it's stupid sometimes and silly, but anyways.
Let's move into movie trailers.
We got movie trailers.
All right, so first up, we have Pet Semetary. This is a new take on a Stephen King classic. Basically, the background on this is Louis Creed, his wife Rachel, and their 2 children, Gage and Ellie, move into a rural home where they're welcomed and enlightened about their eerie pet cemetery located near their home. And they also have a neighbor that introduces them to this pet cemetery. He explains this is where the neighborhood puts their dead pets. Now, this movie is being directed by Kevin Klosh and Dennis Widmer, and then starring Jason Clarke, John Lithgow, and Amy Smets.
So what's the whole take on the movie or in the story? Is it you bury your pets there? Because I know this was referenced in. Ironically, it was referenced in Justice League. Remember?
Was it?
Yeah, remember Flash says this give me really bad Pet Cemetery vibes. And how ironic that it's out this year.
Yeah.
But so what you bury the pet there at the cemetery and it comes back to life?
Kind of. So there's the pet cemetery in the original movie, and then over these dead piles of trees and through the river and through the woods, there's this other burial ground that's next to it that's Indian, or they call it Indian in Pet Cemetery, but Native American. And if you bury a pet there, then it comes to life. Okay. It like reanimates and is basically like a zombie almost in a way. So in the movie, the original neighbor explains that he buried his pet there once, and his dog came back to life, but he was vicious and not the same. So in this movie, it looks exactly the same, or not exactly, but very similar. There's a few things that are off. They have the road with the trucks that are zooming by, and they're probably eventually going to hit the girl's cat, like in the movie. He buries the cat comes back to life, and then eventually the little boy, he gets hit, and the boy, the father's in hysteria, and he buries the boy, in this pet cemetery, and the boy comes back to life and starts killing people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was that intense. I wish I was a more avid reader.
Well, if you have Amazon Prime right now, it is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
I've always liked Stephen King, like watching movies of his. So I wish I could definitely read the books more.
True.
But yeah, anything that's gonna be Stephen King the last couple of years has been pretty freaking awesome. So
yeah. I mean, even though this is a remake, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot creepier. The first one was pretty creepy, but with today's standards and these great actors that are behind it, John Lithgow and Jason Clarke, I think it's gonna be a pretty good horror movie.
All right, next up for our fields, our trailers, we've got London Fields, which comes out this October 26th, which is in a couple weeks. This is. It doesn't, in my opinion, does not look good. The trailer says it all when they have. It looks like they've reshot it, they've recut it. Amber Heard is in it, who was married to Johnny Depp, who had an extremely violent relationship with each other that was super toxic. And you wonder, like, was this shot before or after? It had to be after.
Is this about their relationship?
Oh, it basically looks like a glorified sex shot of
Amber
Heard. And no wonder Johnny Depp was like, man, like, I'm gonna get in fights with this girl. No, I don't know, but this just, it looks rushed. It looks like it was like, oh, we finally got the trailer in, and they're like, guys, we have the movie in like 7 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, we just weren't even planning on showing it.
And they just released this trailer in October, and it comes out in October. That's weird.
I mean, think about it. They have 10 days before the movie is in theaters. Like,
what the heck?
Days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they definitely like cut it together, and they're like, look, guys, we got it done. They're like,
I mean, well, this movie does have some great stars. It's being directed by Matthew Cullen. Of course, we said Amber Heard. Cara Delevingne is in it. Jason Isaacs is in it.
Jamie Alexander's in it.
Theo James, Billy Bob Thornton, and
Jim
then
Sturgis is in it. He's from the song we're singing. the Beatles movie that they did.
Oh, Across the Universe?
Across the Universe.
He really?
Yeah, he's the main character in
That's
it.
funny. And then of course Johnny Depp, who's uncredited in this movie.
Yeah, and which just makes it a little weirder. So we'll see. This is definitely not going to be a movie we're seeing, but it will be definitely a movie we'll make fun of if it does do bad. If it does good, then I would actually be interested in seeing it if it does good.
I mean,
because
it looks just like a whodunit in a way, but with a pinup model.
Exactly, and like you can tell that the story is just her dating a bunch of guys, and they're trying to kill her, and it doesn't have much more than that. So we'll see.
All right, so last up for our trailers for this week is Jonathan. This movie is starring Ansel Elgort, Patricia Clarkson, and Suki Waterhouse.
This was surprisingly my favorite one of the week. It's about a Jonathan leaves the office every day at noon. When he gets home, he goes to sleep, and every morning he wakes up and there's breakfast prepared for him, along with a video telling him about the 2-part of his day. It's about a guy with multiple was it realities? Or
just split personality. Consciousness, yeah.
So he has a consciousness that wakes up in the morning and a consciousness that wakes up at night and lives different lives.
Yeah, and psychological movies like this are one of my favorites. So I'm really excited for this one. It looks very interesting. Basically, this guy looks like his day counterpart. It seems like the nicer side. The night part seems like it's more aggressive.
Bad boy.
Yeah, bad boy. Based off of this trailer, but that could change. They could both be just as bad, but just based off the trailer, that's what it seems like.
Mm-hmm. But definitely one that we'll probably be checking out. That'll be great for November 16th.
Yeah,
because that'll be a week probably where there'll be a little bit of a lull in movies. So
yeah,
pretty excited for that one.
All right. Well, let's get into our movie review of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Movie reviews.
And this week we saw Bad Times at the El Royale. This movie is directed by Drew Goddard. It stars a nice, handsome group of characters here. We got Jeff Bridges, Cynthia Erivo, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, Chris Hemsworth, and Lewis Pullman, as well as Nick Offerman in a very small role in it. This was a great movie, in my opinion. After a day of sitting on it and rethinking about it, I really, really liked this movie. It was a mindfuck. It was shot really well. I thought the way that they shot the movie, with all the different... they did a cut of all the different rooms, and you get to see everyone else's perspective. I thought that was well shot. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Goddard, he's the director of this, and he's known for Lost, Cabin in the Woods, and The Martian, as well as, Daredevil. So he's a strong, writer in general and director. And then this cast that he has is awesome. Chris Hemsworth was amazing. He kind of reminded me of Brad Pitt in a way. His character, just the way his mannerisms were in that movie. He was very much like main character in Fight Club. He reminded me of him.
Crazy, sporadic, and just acting on his own.
Shirtless, kind of,
This was one of those movies that you sit down and you watch it. It's going to be one of those that we'll probably watch, like, either one of us will watch it again.
Oh, definitely. I want to see it again.
And we'll say, oh, wow, like, we missed that part in it, or maybe this... It's one of those movies you watch multiple times and you start figuring out more and more. But when we left, I think that's probably the longest. We usually, like, get up right away as the credits go.
Yeah.
We sat there for a good minute, like, God damn it, what did we just see? So I think that this was probably one of the best suspenseful movies that going in, like, the trailer didn't give anything away.
No.
There was 100% surprise watching this movie.
Yeah. It kept you guessing. The only thing I guess I didn't like about that, I'm pretty sure you didn't either, was it left it open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really give too much side about the CIA or John Hamm's side.
Yeah.
Or was the FBI, we don't know.
Now, me personally, I think... this is what
I think it was FBI because he was talking to Hoover.
Yeah. Me personally, I think that this is going to be another movie at one point.
You think so?
I think that the way that they did the characters and everything, that it could easily be the way you do a movie like this one. Like taking the different parts of the movie that you didn't see and getting a different angle of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it tricks you into thinking like, oh, this happened for this reason, when really it just fucking dumb luck.
Exactly.
And I like that about this movie, is the dumb luck aspect of it, because people don't realize, like today was a good example. An employee went to go get, it was like they're at work and was ready to clock on, and then our manager was like, do you want to go get coffee for me? You can be late. And he was like, hell yeah. And as soon as I came back to the office a little bit, like, our manager was talking to somebody, he had gotten in a car crash.
Oh my God.
And, like, think about it. Like, there was 2 paths that you go into in a day. You either take the safe route or you take the dangerous. And you don't know what the safe route is, because what happens if, like, the safe route for him was staying at the store and, like, he cut his finger or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like how they played off of that in this movie, because you're like, at any point something can shift, and that's what they play off.
Yeah, it was very well done. Awesome script. I would like to see a sequel to this, honestly.
Yeah, where they go into a lot more of the stuff that was in the movie that they kind of, it seemed like they cut for time, which they definitely needed to, because it was
long.
Was it 2 hours and 30 minutes?
It was about like 2:20 or something.
It was 2:20.
Yeah.
Which is I was definitely fidgeting through the movie.
Yeah, there was some, it's long, so you're like, come on already.
Yeah, and my opinion of it too was that the beginning was great.
Yeah.
It established a lot, and then the middle was kind of a lull.
Dragged out.
Yeah, when it got to the bank robbing scene, I thought it's like, damn, like I kind of got.
Kind of understood that.
Yeah, that whole scene didn't even explain why they went to the El Mirage or the El Royale. And so...
And buried it like an Italian, in the floorboards.
So, that'd be cool. Maybe Nick Offerman's going to be, the main character in the next movie and explains why he got shot and was... and I know that was the meetup spot, but why would you bury it, I get
in a hotel room?
Yeah, I get that you don't want to keep it, but Jeff Bridges' character got... There's a lot of... It's too little of a detail to really nitpick, but...
True.
There's just stuff in it that you go, this could definitely be a sequel to it.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, definitely recommend this one. Other than that, Drew Goddard has quite a few movies that he's working on.
X-Force.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's working on the X-Force. That's what I saw. I think he worked on some other stuff, too. There we go. He's working on the Sinister Six, too.
No, Sinister Six, is that supposed to be... Yeah, I don't have faith in that one right now.
I mean, who knows?
So, somebody was talking recently that that Spider-Man, this Far From Home, is supposed to incorporate the Sinister Six. Either a build-up of it, to the point where they build it up for the next movie, and or they are in it and Mysterio's part of it.
They've been trying to do Sinister Six since the last Spider-Man, since Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
The third one was supposed to be a Sinister Six movie, but that ended up falling through. I think the director recently talked about it in an interview this week. I didn't read too much into it. But, yeah, that's El Royale, and Drew Goddard is a great director and writer.
It's got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week.
And we did have a question.
Yes.
But I can't remember.
Oh, it was if or when Daniel Craig becomes a superhero in...
Or no, Will Ferrell.
Oh, Will Ferrell, that's right.
Yes, so if you don't know this, basically, every person that's played in a movie or TV show of
Sherlock Holmes,
whether it be Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law,
Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Mick Cumberstick.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman. And now with the new one coming out, it's Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. And John C. Reilly played part of the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
So, if so, who do you think is going to be that character?
Yeah, that's a good question. On my end, it would be interesting to see him do, I guess, a side character. I don't think he would be a main character. Kind of like John C. Reilly was kind of like a side character.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, he could be a character in S.H.I.E.L.D. Or something like that, maybe,
I would love to see him play a character who's, like, he thinks he's a villain.
Oh.
And ends up, like, going against another villain and, like, talking shit to him. And then
gets his ass kicked or something.
Gets his ass kicked or killed or something like that.
Yeah.
And not that I want to see him killed off, but just, like, because he would be that smart-ass kind of person that's like, he's like, I'm Waffle Man, I could beat you up. And he's like, well, I'm Toaster Man, bring it on.
Or kind of like how in The Dark Knight, they had the fake Dark Knights. Or the fake Batmans.
Fake Batman, yeah.
Something like that.
And to be honest, even if he did like a hooded cameo, I'd be pretty happy to see that.
Oh, yeah. But that is going to do it for this week's Movie Lowdown. Thank you guys for listening and or watching. I am TJ Washuk.
And I am Air Conditioning.
Have a good night.
This has been a Two Guys production.